All right, my babies. So I'm really tripping on this website, man. I'm so excited for it to be done. It'll officially be my first paying gig as a programmer. So a lot of kind of like confidence, comfort, all these like good stuff are not yet there, but kind of like are coming together, I guess. But it's just the beauty of the flow of like sitting there every day, kind of like just working, 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 working. It is amazing. Now, the video before this one. Hello. And remember, look at what I'm wearing. There are probably a couple of videos before that that kind of like fit the vibe, which means they're kind of like one mission statement happening on its own. Earlier, I was talking about a rant I was having to myself as I was walking to the house, and I realized my conversation was completely fucked up. And I ended it with with a sentence that I wrote it down because it was like I felt it to be beautiful. So it's not the statements you make, it's the statements that are made by you. Self talk and dealing with the residue of your statements or of your past patterns. So, why is this an important thing for me? The truth is because we all at one point were self destructive. We all at one point were not fair to ourselves. We all at one point were negligent, and in every single aspect of our lives, we are always kind of like missing something that we ourselves are refusing to kind of like engage with. And I think that's the imperfection of humanity. But what I want to focus on most is the things that are don't really happen because we're assholes, right? Calm down. I want to focus on the things that happen just because we don't really mean what we're saying. And so there's your voice, and then there's the voice that comes out of you. Your voice is the voice that kind of says, I want to do something. It's the intention. And as beautiful as that is, it's heard by your mind and by your body. And so each one of these has a different voice. Now the body doesn't really respond using the vocals, respond or using actual language. The body responds through feeling, right? Emotions, pain, all kinds of things. It just responds that way. Whilst the mind actually could use terminology that we are able to understand. Some people understand through feeling as well, but that's a limited. Like there's an actual TED Ed video about it. There's I think 5 to 10% of people are verbal. I think 20% of people are like emotional, and I think about 50 to 60% of people are visual. And so like the mind will literally convey what it what how it is able to convey what it's basically figured out from you. So ultimately, the more your behavior, and I'm there's no belief in this. Your mind follows your behavior and your attitude. That's basically it. I can say I'm the happiest man in the world, but if my behavior is not really the same as somebody who's happy, well, if people won't be convinced that what I'm saying I'm true to for, how would my body and my mind respond? Right? So the reason I'm mentioning it this way is because like we kind of are in many ways either hypocritical straight up or we misunderstand ourselves. I'm giving us the benefit of the doubt. Hypocritical means I say something but I don't act upon it, which means my voice is saying something, but the voice that comes out of me, my mind's voice and my body's voice, are going to be saying something else because they're going to see through my lies and bullshit and they're going to express that. They're going to express the actual truth. And I could actually, maybe I'm lying, maybe I don't see how I'm being a hypocrite, maybe I don't see how I'm being an asshole. And again, like I'm giving people the benefit of the doubt. Although I really believe if people take a step back, or taking a step back is probably the hardest thing anyone could do. But at the very least, when somebody's saying something, I think people could just allow them to speak. And then eventually, maybe like they can find a certain pattern with the people and how they're speaking to them, of which they could use in order for them to kind of like reflect. So self-actualization is easier than self-realization. Self-realization requires like strength, mental fortitude, peace, meditation, and all that good stuff. The self-actualization is more of a, hey guys, intentionally let me talk to you and listen to others and see how you're responding to me and how I'm responding to you in order for me to like adapt and change. So the statements you make are the ones that I think they're the ones that are filled with I am. I am is not something to fuck around with, man. What does I am mean? Philosophers over the past 4,000 years have all been discussing who am I? What am I in this world? And what is the I that we're all engaging with? Yet, as people, random people, we tend to say, I'm like this, I'm like that, I'm here, I'm like this, I'm like that. And at one point, we forget, even when we want to change, we forget how many statements we did that led us to our current position. How many times we said, this is who I am, and this is what I can do, and this is what I'm okay with doing, and then all these statements kind of like brought you into where you are right now. There's no other reason you're where you are right now except for all the things that you kind of like engaged with. That is the way you are right now is your true form of expression. And it doesn't fucking matter how you see yourself, because it's always about what you want. Because if you see this is where you are right now and you want to be somewhere else, then ultimately you have to express like that somebody else would, that somewhere else would. Like I don't know, like the easiest way to look at ourselves is like, how do I express myself from a guy who's broke versus a guy who has money? I don't know how people who have money express themselves. But I can completely understand how me being broke is expressed the way I am expressing right now. And so the statements I make are what brought me here. But the minute I want to change, it's not just my statements that have to change, because I've been saying this for so long and my mind has been listening to me and my body has been listening to me. I'm not alone in this. And what I realized today was, as I was walking back home, like my body was my mind was trying to convince me of what we needed. And it felt like my mind did not yet truly trust and believe that we want to be somewhere else. My mind truly did not. It's been 2 years that I've been like fully into this form of life, where I write everything down, where I'm engaging with myself every single step of the way. And it's been 2 years and I still see my mind having conversations that don't really benefit me. And I think today I felt like I actually mentioned it. It was like the statements that I say, and I've been like trying to avoid statements forever, because I realized at one point last year, sometime mid last year, that statements are basically the enemy. And every time you make a statement, you kind of have to support it and prove it. But the fucked up thing is like every other day over the past like 36 years until I got to realizing my new realizations has been completely in opposition to what I'm doing right now. And these are patterns that are ingrained in my psyche, in my behavior every single day for so fucking long, that even when I stopped making statements, I myself stopped making statements, my mind and my body still make them. They still act upon the previous ones, stubbornly trying to like stop where we are, stubbornly trying to protect how they think I view myself. And that basically like asking questions of what the fuck are you saying? Literally, I was asking myself, what the fuck are you saying? Allowed me to explore what people discuss as self-talk and what people discuss as like the self-reflection and the self-realization and the self-understanding. In order for me to kind of like get out of where I am, I really have to understand how I am. And on the surface, it makes sense. I understand it. But the reality is, I'm not even there. I still have a lot to work through. And I have a lot to actually like engage with and deal with. And it could only happen on a daily basis as long as, I guess, as long as I keep asking myself the questions that are relevant. Eventually, I'll start hearing properly the answers. And eventually, I'd be actually like making a decision if these answers are going to be supportive of what I want to be or not, or where I want to be or not. I think that's the easiest way for us to do it. And that's what basically self-talk is. It's not statements. It's understatement. It's understanding the statements that are made by you and how you can structure them in order to understand them. And in order for them to be, I don't know, I guess to stop being so opinionated. Yeah, it's a video.